Bam! My peoples. My peoples. Let me start this show off by saying happy Friday to you guys. Beautiful day here in the Dominican Republic. We're gonna do what we do today, man. We're gonna talk boxing. Welcome to a brand new episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. So, Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson are gonna fight. We're gonna have to talk about that, my people. Is this real? Looks like it is. Whoa. Two great fighters who've been retired for many years. Both, well, Floyd is in his 40s, Mike Tyson in his 50s. Something we never thought could ever happen. This is like one of those imaginary fights. I guess maybe they took a note from Tank Davis and Jake Paul and they said, wait a minute, these two guys from two totally different weight classes are going to mix it up. We could do that and get the bag. So there you have it, my peoples. Floyd Mayweather and him and Mike Tyson have been going back and forth on social media. So I guess, I don't know if that was part of the build-up or what happened there, but here we are now. They're going to share the ring. My brother Jay Will in the building. Salute, my brother. Bam! Appreciate you dropping in. Jay Will, very disappointing to see such a great sport now turned into a circus show. Hold on, man. I gotta adjust my vision over here. Jay Smith, this is terrible. Boxing for breakfast. The GOAT, Jay Smith. Appreciate you, my brother. Man, listen, we're going to have to talk about this whole Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. What does it really mean? What are we going to see going forward? Yoda, what's good? Bam! Jay Will, sweet shirt, Jay Smith. Appreciate you, my G. It's Friday. We got to try to, lighten up the mood today. Start off with a bang and whatnot. Yoda, Floyd Duck and Roy Jones with this one. Well, I do think that there was an honest back and forth between them. Maybe they were trying to negotiate and it didn't work out. Or with Mike Tyson, there was some more, where Floyd is about the money. If it makes money, it makes sense. So I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbled. But Roy wanted that smoke for sure. Ernest Morales, Puerto Rico into his house. My brother, bam, appreciate you tuning in. Y'all already know, man, this is another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Shadow Band J coming stronger than ever. The Shadow Band episodes are going to be epic because they're going to have very few amount of people viewing them. I'm going to put them on a separate library. And then, if you want to see the Shadow Band episodes where we was talking about Canelo and Crawford, where we was talking about what's coming up now with Mike Tyson and Floyd, you're going to have to check out the Shadow Band episodes, my peoples. Underrated Will in the building. Yo, I'm here. Like up from my other pages. Hold on, good morning. Appreciate you dropping in, my G. Bam. My peoples. Listen up, man. Listen up. I'm going to go ahead and say that Jake Paul versus Tank Davis influenced Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather to happen, or was part of what brought that idea into play. Because think about it, the whole argument or the whole storyline about Tank Davis being much smaller than Jake Paul, yet they're going to share the ring. That's been a topic of conversation. So now look, we're getting Floyd Mayweather, a welterweight fighter, versus Mike Tyson, a heavyweight. So the size difference is similar as far as how many weight classes. So did Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul inspire that fight that we're going to see with Mike Tyson and Floyd? I don't know, but to me it looks like it. They decided, you know what? They can make that fight with such a mismatch as far as size, we can do it too. And we're gonna get the bag. So look, man, that's the type of fight that is gonna be an exhibition. It's gonna be an exhibition for Mike and Floyd to get their money. So honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it, my G. You know, I only have a problem with exhibitions when it's, for example, someone like Tank who's in his prime, who could be fighting, you know, the names, who could be fighting the best if he wanted to, and he's choosing this. But with someone like Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, for them to climb the ring, oh, you know, both of them are older. Floyd, obviously, you know, a lot younger than Mike, but he's a lot smaller too. And I think that's the type of fight that nobody's really gonna get hurt. Nobody gonna get hurt. Floyd not gonna get hurt. Mike not gonna get hurt. Go ahead. Do a few rounds right there. Do a little sparring and make millions of dollars. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What I would not be okay with is if they try to sanction it. That's a real fight and it's gonna go in their box right. Then I'm like, oh nah, hold on. But for exhibition fight, where we get to see two legends sparring each other, mixing it up a little bit. I get y'all money. Do what y'all gotta do. Jay Will, I hate it. Haha. Mike Tyson, we just saw look horrible versus Jake. Yeah, but Jake was a lot bigger and a lot, you know, bigger as far as taller and longer, and a lot younger, man. You fighting a 27-year-old guy. You're about to be 60. So now with Floyd, you have to understand, Floyd is a lot smaller than Jake Paul. A lot smaller. And a lot smaller than Mike Tyson, too. And he's, you know, size-wise, he's shorter. And he's, you know, shorter reach, smaller. He's smaller in every way that you can measure them. That's the difference between that fight with Jake Paul. And the age, of course. Jake Paul in his 20s, Floyd in his 40s. Jay Will, I just don't want boxing to be made a mockery of. Man, listen, I'm going to tell you. We're going to see more and more of these exhibition fights. So, you're either going to get on, you know, jump on the bandwagon and enjoy the show, or you're going to be suffering, bro. But you have to really take this into consideration. Those shows, those events, they're not going to stop the fights that we want to see from happening. Unless it's Tank Davis, we know he's ducking. But look, remember I've been talking about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. Y'all know I've been expressing interest in that fight, even though there's mad haters out there who don't want to see Shakur fight a name, who don't want him to have the opportunity. I've been pushing it like, damn, we need to get this fight, my people. Why are we not talking about it? And it looks like they are, as of right now, in negotiations to fight each other. We might actually get Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Oh, man. I really want that fight, my people. Badly. Badly. I can't tell you that many fights in boxing, potential matchups, that I want right now more than that. And I'm talking about possible matchups. I'm talking about people, you know, have traded words on Twitter or have gone back and forth and there's a possibility. I'm talking about that, not dream matchups that we know ain't happening. Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez is a legit super fight. Jay Will, facts Jay Smith. Tank will use these exhibitions to avoid the real competitions. I mean, I don't know how many more exhibitions he's gonna do. Maybe he's just gonna do this one. Maybe. Because this, I don't, yeah, there's nobody else out there that he's gonna be able to do an exhibition with and make that type of money. Remember, Tank Davis is the B side in this whole thing right here. This is an MVP event. Yoda, Floyd trying to distract from Canelo Bud. I mean, there's really nothing he could do. Honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think it's about making money. think that's what it's all about. The opportunity presented itself. Right now, we see with, if anything, is him trying to outshadow Tank Davis and Jake Paul, because we know that he has had his situation with Tank Davis. We know that they had, probably don't even talk to each other right now. Jay Will, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Floyd versus AB. I would even prefer that one. Not just because they're closer in size, because, damn, yo, help AB get a bag, bro. Help a man. Help a brother get a bag. Oh, I don't know, because if AB's gonna get a bag and just go crazy and do crazy shit and end up even in a worse situation, then leave him alone. Let him be. But I would like to see AB get that opportunity. Jay Will, it'd be cool to see AB get a bag. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want to see AB. And Floyd can make that. Come on, man. You could do an exhibition with him. You could do that. Help a brother out. And you're going to get you a bag anyways. It would be interesting. You know that Adrian Broner's a guy who is going to sell a fight. Who knows how to sell a fight. Who's going to make it interesting. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's about Adrian Broner's behavior that, made Floyd kind of distance himself a bit. I don't know what it is. And look, I'm going to be honest. It's easy from the outside looking in to say, yo, do this and then give him a shot. But you also don't know the dynamics, how situations play out. I've had people tell me, yo, you should rock with this person. But they don't know this person. You don't know what I have to deal with this person. Or why I'm not trying to rock with that person. You're just like, yo, come on. So Floyd has his reasons for not doing it, because I know AB been asking for it. Let's see what happens. What I can tell you is that Adrian Broner has been, ever since he signed with Don King, I think he's only had one fight, if I'm not mistaken. So he's kind of froze out. Now you're in your mid-30s. Like, that's it. It's like literally now or never, because that's it. You're almost done. And played with inactivity and the goofballery in his personal life. So that's it. Broner's right there. To be honest, what I would do if I was Broner, I would start trying to at least get some exhibitions. Even if it's with some YouTubers. Get you some exhibitions. At least put your name, put your face out there. Start banging it out. Call out this guy. What's the guy's name? The guy with the dreads from the UK. That his dreads start like back here. Damn, I forgot the dude's name, man. But he been boxing too. He a YouTuber, streamer, I guess. He been fight him. KSI, there you go, my brother. You like the description, right? I told you, and you right on know what I'm talking about. Adrian Broner needs to get in there with KSI, like call somebody out like that. It's an exhibition fight. It's not even a real fight. You call out a guy like that, call out the other guy, call out Soul Poppy. Yo, Soul Poppy, what's up? Call out these guys, and that's gonna expand his popularity and open some doors. But if he's just sitting over there, man, waiting for Floyd to give him a call, or waiting for somebody else to, come on, we got this for you. Damn. And you could see already that Don King, Adrian Broner is not Don King's priority. Me personally, I will not sign with Don King. Ever. If I was a fighter. T-Man Toss, why is Mike Tyson embarrassing his legacy like this? That's not embarrassing. He's making money. Come on now. Most fighters have done this. Muhammad Ali did an exhibition fight with a wrestler. Did that change his legacy? Nope. Not at all. Still recognized as the greatest. And you can look it up. Ali did an exhibition with a wrestler. Come on. Can you beat Mike Tyson? No, but this the real question. How fast can you create a new account after I block your goofy ass for that dumb question? Yoda, I wouldn't mind AB versus Pacquiao. Remember, AB was like, "I'll beat that boy. I'll beat him." Yo, Jay Will, you know how we be doing it, man. You know how we do this. Damn, am I wrong for enjoying that? Am I? Is this like? I don't know. I don't know. But I digress, my peoples. We all digress. I would like to see AB get an opportunity, but right now it's about Floyd Mayweather and Iron Mike Tyson. They're actually gonna fight, my people. It's gonna be, like I said, man. It's an exhibition. Somebody told me this is a heist. This is a heist. Neither guy is really gonna get. This is why I don't have a problem with it. I'm gonna tell you guys why. Floyd, if I'm not mistaken, he's like 49 years old right now. Mike Tyson is like 58. Late 40s, late 50s. Nobody's gonna get hurt. I'd have a problem with it if Floyd is fighting a 20-year-old young bull. Or Mike Tyson, look, man, he stepped in the ring with Jake Paul, who's in his 20s. That I have a problem with. But two guys who've been retired for a very long time, who are both older, I'm okay with it. Do it. Make your money. I'm not gonna, obviously, it's not my preference. You're never gonna see me saying, yo, these two retired guys should call each other out and fight. But if they wanna fight and they're in the same age range, I'm with it. And I'm gonna tell you, Yoda, why I'm with it. So you could try to see it from my perspective. You see two older guys, right? And you're like, nah, they shouldn't fight. I don't like it. But I want you to take this into consideration. Right now, I only have one professional fight. And I lost that fight, right? Now, I was 44 years old, and my opponent was 35, 9 years younger than me. A little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. If I have the opportunity to fight somebody that's closer to my age range, you best believe that I'm gonna fight my guy. You best believe that you're gonna see me in the ring. I promise you. But it's tough to find an opponent that's gonna be around my weight, 45, 46 years old, who wants to fight. A lot of people don't wanna fight. I wanna fight, but I just can't find somebody who's right there with me. So the reason I explained that to you, my brother, is because Floyd and Mike Tyson, these are two fighters who fought at the highest levels, who've been on the biggest stage. But what you forget is that they fighters. And that feeling of stepping in the ring and being the center of attention while we trade leather, there's nothing else that they could do that's gonna that's gonna, replace that sensation. Nothing. So it's like the opportunity to climb the ring and make a shitload of money. How do you turn it down? It's hard, bro. I would get in the ring right now for nothing. If I could get an opponent, I could get in the ring for nothing. I just want to fight. Jay Will, you know what's crazy, Jay? Bernard Hopkins, at 49 years old, was still unified champion. That's a fact. That's a fact. But you got to remember, Bernard Hopkins was active. Bernard Hopkins didn't retire for 10 years and he was active, bro. Active throughout. Bam, bam, bam. And then he would step out for a bit, come back and keep doing it. Yoda, I'd rather Floyd versus Zab. Man, listen, I wish we could have got that rematch because it was interesting. It was interesting. I think that before, You know, for a moment, it felt like Zap was running out of gas, and Floyd capitalized on that. But for a moment, it felt like Zap was winning that fight. If you look at the early rounds, it's like, damn, put hands on Floyd. And made him touch the floor with his glove, which should have been scored a knockdown and wasn't. Jay Will. Oh no, Yoda. I'd rather Floyd versus Zab. Like I said, man, that's an interesting fight. I don't think we'll see it. I don't know if we'll see it. But it's an interesting fight, man. The first time around it was interesting, and if they did it again, it would definitely be interesting. I don't know if Floyd and Zab want to do it with each other, because then that will really be competitive, and well, they could do an exhibition, a little light sparring, but the competitiveness, that type of fight, I don't know if they want to do it with each other like that, man, because they will be competitive and they could, land some good shots on each other. And I don't know if they want to do that. Yoda, I'd rather Floyd versus Zab. Jay Will, you remember the trainers jumped in the ring? Yup. Yoda, the exhibition with 20-ounce gloves. Jay Will, after that, Floyd took over. That's it. Once that happened, it became Floyd's show. I would say, man, look, we're going to see more and more of these exhibition fights. Get used to it. You're going to have to either go with the wave or suffer because it's not going anywhere. That's it. It's officially something that you're gonna see a lot more of. And I'm gonna say there's always gonna be that pushback. That pushback is never gonna end. But you're gonna see that somehow, some way, people that offer pushback find ways to support it too. Because when you say Tank Davis shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul, you with it. You understand that that's an exhibition, right? But a lot of people say, nah, he got to get his money. And I would do the same thing too. So you support the exhibitions? You support it? Isn't it a little bit hypocritical to go crazy on Jake Paul for all these years, and now when it's Tank Davis he's gonna do an exhibition where you celebrating Tank Davis getting the bag? Isn't that hypocritical? We've been crucifying Jake Paul. We've been saying that Jake Paul is not a real fighter, that he doesn't belong in boxing, that he's ruining the sport. He's fighting Tank Davis. Now we're like, hooray, Tank is getting the bag. Yes, and I would do it too. I would climb in the ring with Jake Paul too, after talking all that shit for years. What a bunch of goofballs. Jay Will, I have Netflix, Jay Smith, but I'll be illegally streaming the Tank Jay so they don't get my view. Nah, man, watch it. It's not even worth it. Watch it on Netflix. You don't want the video quality to be affected because you're watching it somewhere else. You know, just do what I'm gonna do. Do what I'm gonna do, Jay Will. Watch it in disgust. That's it. That's all we could really do about it. But again, look, it's all about making the money. They're businessmen. And it's like I said, my peoples, I feel like Jake Paul versus Tank Davis in a way influenced Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather to happen. I think that was part of it. Because if you think about it, guys, up until now, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather sharing the ring, that was like a dream matchup, like something that, we would say, oh, what if this happened? But it could never happen. And even though it's an exhibition, we still couldn't picture it happening because of the size difference. Like, no way. No way this fight could happen when Floyd is a welterweight and Mike Tyson is heavy. No way, it's not happening. Well, it is happening. It's going down. So, did Jake Paul versus Tank Davis influence this fight? I don't know. I think it could have, but I will say we're going to see a lot more of them. I see a lot of fighters training right now. I see Danny Garcia training. Danny Garcia's coming back. I don't know who's going to be his opponent. Yo, Jay, why you won't say who I got in Billy versus Lester? Now, look, it's just been hard for me to make a pick on that one, but I'm rocking with Billy. That's it. I watched some tape yesterday. I'm rocking with Billy, bro. That's it. And Billy's going to beat him. And it's, you know that I got a lot of respect for Lester because you're seeing that. Listen, it's been 3 days straight with people asking me about that fight. And I've been ducking that answer. The same way Tank Davis ducked Lamar Roach, I've been ducking that answer. So I'm giving it to you right now. I'm rocking with Billy. Al Booger, salute my brother. Bam! Y'all already know my peoples. Boxing for breakfast. This is the Shadow Band episodes. Y'all getting your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Yo, Al Booger, what you think about Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson fighting each other? What do you think about that fight? Jay Will, they had boxing last night. Iglesias versus Vladimir. Iglesias won, and it's now Canelo mandatory for the IBF. And he ain't gonna get that fight. He ain't getting that fight. They ain't getting it. Number one, he gonna be Crawford's mandatory for that fight real soon. That's number one. And number two, Crawford gonna become undisputed in a third division and vacate all them straps. Get them shits out of here. I own them already. And go back down to 154 if he decides to not retire. If he decides to not retire, I would expect Terrence Crawford to go back down to 154. And I already told you guys, he goes back down to 154 and thus just one more thing over there after accomplishing that feat, we got to talk about him being the greatest fighter of all time. And if he's not, then we're going to have to make that argument. We're going to have a conversation about it. Yes, sir. Toy Mafia in the building. Salute, my brother. Bam. You already know, my G. Boxing for breakfast. Getting that healthy dosage of sweet science. Shadow Band J, y'all. This is Shadow Band episode number 5. You guys, look, while some people look at the glass half full, I see the glass half empty. Actually, it was the other way around. While some people see it half empty, I see it half full. And this is what I mean. You could get down and be like, damn, yo, you shadow ban, notifications not going out, YouTube not showing your live to anybody, nobody could find you. I could see it that way, right? You know how I actually see it? And how I even capitalize on it? I started the Shadow Ban J series. And as long as I'm shadow banned, these episodes are going to be part of that series. These episodes are not getting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views. These episodes are getting 80 views, 90 views, 100 views. In an hour, 2 hours of talking boxing about the best fighters, the best fights and all that. So the shadow ban episodes are going to be there. And then one day, guess what? You want to see the shadow ban episodes? You want to see the Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez prediction? You want to see the Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson talk that we had on Boxing for Breakfast? Go check out the shadow ban episode, my people. Mr. KO, salute, my brother. Bam! We talking Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. I know you know by now what's going on. They're going to mix it up. What do you think that fight means for boxing? And, by the way, I already said it. I haven't heard nobody say that. More, pues dame. And I may be the first one who said this. I want you guys to consider it. Jake Paul and Tank Davis was a big surprise for everyone because of the size difference. So I feel like Jake and Tank influenced, in a way, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather to fight each other because they're saying, well, there's a size difference there. We can do it. We can do it too. Uh, and I asked myself, is it possible that Floyd decided, you know what? Tank is gonna fight Jake Paul. That's a huge fight. We're gonna overshadow them. Mike Tyson and myself, we're gonna overshadow them. I don't know, but I think it's interesting. Interesting dynamic going on there. Jay Will, you have a more positive perspective on it than I do, Jay Smith. I mean, let me know what you think. So, look, if it's an exhibition, I'm like, get your money. You guys are around the same age. Nobody's gonna get hurt. You know, this is not going in the box wreck. Two fighters, well, one fighter that we support. Well, Mike Tyson and Floyd is two fighters that we support. Two legends. So let's support them and let them get that back. Mr. KO, hey man, that fight is the casual's dream. The casuals be like, yo, who wins, Floyd Mayweather or Mike Tyson? And now we get to find out. There you go. There you go. That's why I said that Tank Davis versus Jake Paul may have influenced this to happen. May have actually influenced this to happen. Because you see two guys, you know, with such difference in size who are not going to fight each other, well, in an exhibition, and now we get to see. If you think about it, man, for years and years, people have said, who's better, Floyd Mayweather or Mike Tyson? If they fought each other, well, they're going to fight each other. There you have it. Jay Will, this tells you, if Pacquiao would have won, we probably would have gotten Floyd Manny rematch. Yeah, for sure, 100% for sure. That's what would have happened. Because I still remember when Manny Pacquiao announced that he was going to fight Barrios, Floyd Mayweather had supposedly reached out to Cambosos to do something in Australia. So you already see that Floyd Mayweather's trying to get active. And I tell you what, if Manny Pacquiao wins a fight or fights that rematch with Barrio and wins, there'll be a rematch between him and Floyd. Floyd is going to come back to snatch that title from him in real life and become the oldest welterweight champion ever. Mr. KO, do you think Floyd would have won with Roy Jones since they had an interaction not too long ago? Would that fight bring more buzz or just about the same amount of attention? I think that Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson. No, I don't think. I have to say Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson is a bigger fight. Now, don't get it twisted. Roy Jones Jr. is a legend. Roy Jones Jr. is a GOAT. That's a big, big fight too. But Mike Tyson, because of the polarizing figure that he is, Mike Tyson is bigger than Roy Jones Jr. His name is bigger than Roy Jones Jr. So because of that, I would say Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather is going to make more money. Maybe that's why Floyd went that route. Mr. KO, Pac-Man fucked up the bag. He did. He did. But it's hard to say that because he fought a young, hungry lion in Mario Barrios and went to a draw. So, damn, that was a heck of a fight from a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Jay Will, Tyson was the face of boxing, and so was Floyd. At some point, they both was the guy. At some point, and that's what I'm saying. Look, man, both of these fighters, I want you guys to consider this perspective, right? If you're not on board with this, if you don't like it, I at least want you to think about this. Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather are both great fighters who accomplished inside the ring, who gave us a lot of big fights. You know, whether you hated them or you loved them, but you watched. They they called our attention. And we enjoyed what they did in the ring for years and years, right? I think we can agree on that. So if they're older and they want to climb the ring straight up to make money, not to compete, not to take a beating, not to, but to make money and have a good time, why not support that? Let's support them, my people. Y'all gave us years and years of entertainment, beating people up and along the way eating some good shots. Damn, yo, make some money, make it bad. I got no problem with it. As like I said, as long as it's two fighters that are around the same age range, nobody's gonna get hurt. I'm cool with it. What I don't want to see though is a 45-year-old fighter come out and fight a guy that's 25 and get pummeled out there. I don't want to see that. But if it's two guys that they're both older, have at it, my peoples. Get your bag. Jay Will, Roy Jones, my favorite fighter growing up. However, Oscar always had the more popularity. I'm gonna tell you why Oscar was more popular. It, you know, it wasn't Roy Jones Jr.'s fault, but he didn't have a lot of names in the divisions that he was fighting in. Think about it real good so you can see. He fought a lot of people who were good boxers that nobody really knew like that. That they have a name like that. A lot. There were times where in the whole division he was in, he was the only guy, the only star. There was nobody there that you say, oh shit, yeah, this guy. Nobody. Oscar De La Hoya, in the other hand, came up in an era where there was a lot of boxers that was known, that had a name that he was able to step in the ring with. I think I think that was the difference of why Roy Jones Jr. didn't become more popular than he already was. Because he was a popular fighter, one of the most popular and famous in boxing. But these guys that fought at the welterweight division, the guys that fought at the heavyweight division, there were guys, in and around the welterweight division who had a much bigger name than Roy Jones because look at Tito Trinidad. Look at the people Tito Trinidad was able to fight. And I wouldn't say, damn, yo, it's hard for me to say that Trinidad was bigger than Roy Jones because Roy Jones was big. Roy Jones was big. But Trinidad was fighting better names, was fighting bigger fights, was fighting in bigger stages. And that wasn't Roy's fault. It's just that he didn't have the people. There's two things about that though. Number one, Roy Jones didn't have the big stars around him in his weight class. And number two, and this made it worse for him, that he was so good and dominating opponents so much that he made it look easy. So now he's making it look like he's fighting bumps, pure bumps. But it's just that he was that good. Mr. KO, true, Pac-Man put up a great fight. But the tickets to the Floyd rematch was the WBC welterweight champion. Man, listen. I wish we could have got that. Like I said, if it's two older fighters and Floyd and Manny Pacquiao right around the same age, I would have been with that. I would have been on board with them climbing the ring and doing that rematch. But it's like I said, our Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather simply overshadowing or trying to overshadow Tank Davis and Jake Paul? Could that be the case? I wonder. Because Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, there's people that believe it's going to be real. Right? There's people that believe, oh, Jake Paul's going to try to beat him up. Tank Davis is going to knock him out. There's people who believe that. But Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, at the age that they are, do you think that they could hurt each other? Or that they'll even try to hurt each other at that age? So, what's going to bring more attention? Which one of these two events is going to bring more attention, bring more viewership? It's hard to say. What do you think, Jay Will, Mr. KO? What do you guys think? What's going to attract more viewership? Jake Paul versus Tank Davis or Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather? That's the magic question. That is the magic question, my peoples. And I'm going to ask it again. Get this receipt. Get this receipt for y'all. So, my peoples, here's the magic question. Which fight is going to get the most viewership? Tank Davis versus Jake Paul or Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson? Think about it. Both of them are going to be on Netflix. Actually, I don't know if Mike Tyson and Floyd is going to be on Netflix, but I'm assuming it. So if both of them are on Netflix, both of them have the same reach, which one is going to attract more viewership? Imada 210, good morning, Jay Smith. I also got the notification for this video. Maybe the shadow ban's slowly lifting. I think it is because a couple of people told me that they got it yesterday. Mr. KO, Jake versus Tank. Jake versus Tank is going to get more views than Mike Tyson versus Floyd. Love more Hinduism. Canelo versus Crawford, a real fight. That's what I'm talking about. That's a real fight right there. And not just a real fight. It's a historic fight. I want to point something out, my peoples, and I got my receipt for that video. You need to hear this. I watched a video from the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And Oscar says he's almost perturbed that people are calling this fight historical. With Crawford and Canelo, he's like, they're saying this is historical. They're saying this. And I don't know his exact words, but he says something like, look at the size difference. You think Crawford has a chance? Canelo's going to run him out of the ring. Come on. Easy, easy. It's going to be a beatdown. So according to the Golden Boy, Canelo Alvarez is just going to run Crawford out of the ring. Y'all already know my prediction. Y'all already know what I'm saying is going to happen, right? Crawford walking out of there with that W. I'm definitely going to holler at Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going to make him his personalized video about what he said was going to happen. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to all the predictions about how Canelo's just going to watch Crawford. Can't wait. And this is interesting. Y'all know that Oscar De La Hoya doesn't like Canelo. He finishes a lot of his show. Well, oh yeah, fuck Canelo. Canelo, fuck you. So he don't like him. But he sees him winning that fight. He's being honest, right? I can't wait for September the 13th. When Crawford is going to put the beats, Swiss, Drake, and Apple upon Canelo Alvarez. Al Booger, Floyd, and Mike for sure. You see what I'm saying? Don't sleep on it. Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson, those are two big, big names. Big, big names. Come on now. Come on, my peoples. There's going to be a lot of views for that one. But Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, that's going to do numbers too. Let's see. I think it's an interesting question to pose. Love more Hinduism. One more week. And we're going to get that real smoke. We're going to get that action for real. For real. Tyson can barely move, shaking my head. Look, it's an exhibition. We gotta cut him some slack. They're gonna take it easy. They're gonna go slow. Nobody getting hurt. Everybody's walking out of there with a bag. Let's support him. He could barely move, but he'll be able to stand up and do a little light sparring with Floyd. He'll be able to do that. I got faith in Mike. My people, to those of you who tuned in, welcome to a brand new episode of Boxing for Breakfast. You see it, man. We get that healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Tank Davis. What is going on in boxing, my peoples? Who's going to do the most numbers? Love more Hinduism. Rather Floyd versus Roy. And you see that they was going back and forth on social media. I actually thought that fight was going to happen. This kind of blindsided us. I don't think no one expected Floyd Mayweather to announce that he was going to fight Mike Tyson. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though. That's the fight that we're going to get. That's the fight that we're going to get. And guess what? We're going to watch it. We're going to tune in. They're going to tune in. We're going to enjoy the show. We're all going to enjoy it, my people. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to impact what other fighters are doing. Or we're going to see more, now that you saw Tank Davis at 30 years old, in his prime, fight an exhibition with Jake Paul, are we going to see more young fighters doing it? Is this going to become a trend? MS, J. Smith, will you be calling the Inoue fight? Salute. Oh, of course, my brother. Salute, my G. I'm calling that fight 100%. 100% I'm calling. It's going to be a good one. God damn. Y'all heard that? But I digress. I'm definitely going to be calling that fight. Looking forward to it. Look, every time Naoya Inoue steps in the ring, we get to see something special. Every single time. Whether it's a counter punch, or the way that he put together a combination, or the angles, or just how sharp the monster Naoya Inoue is. I enjoy watching his fights. And I enjoy calling them too. Have a good time, because it's going to be action-packed. I've said it before, man. I feel like when I watch him, Naoya Inoue is a better version of Manny Pacquiao. And I tell you that because when you watch both of them, they both display power. They both display that quickness, that speed, that footwork, that agility. But I will say, Naoya Inoue's power is more destructive than Manny Pacquiao's. Why? Watch Manny Pacquiao's fights, and you'll see that his knockouts came via, a sustained beating. He beating the crap out of you, and they gotta stop it because you're getting beat up, or you have to quit. Like Oscar De La Hoya, right? You have to quit because that's it. You have to get beat up. So that's the thing. Manny Pacquiao was putting so many hands on you, and he was just baiting you up. Naoya Inoue is got that crushing power, that one punch, boom, he's sending you. It's not that he landed a lot, because that's what you have to understand, my peoples. As a fighter, if you've already taken a lot of punishment in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, a punch that normally wouldn't drop you now could drop you because you hurt. So Manny Pacquiao broke you down and then eventually got you. That was usually the case. Now, yeah, you know it, bro. It could be the second, it could be the third round. If he lands that shot, you could go to sleep right then and there. Or get up and be completely discombobulated and ready to go. He might have 210 since Tank. He might have 210. Jay Smith, what do you think of the rumors for Lamar Roach versus Pitbull Cruz for December? I mean, I don't know, man. I was hoping to see Lamar Roach and Shakur Stevenson, but it looks like Shakur is in negotiations with Teofimo Lopez. I'm praying for that fight. Lamar Roach versus Pitbull, that's a good fight. I like it. I got Lamar winning that fight, outboxing him thoroughly. Thoroughly. But it's a good fight. You know, Pitbull is always competitive, always shows up to fight. I just think that Lamar Roach has that skill set to frustrate him. Make him miss and make him pay. You know, Pitbull's going to be chasing, trying to be aggressive, but Lamar is not going to let him operate the way he wants to. Timmy T, the Shakur campaign at 140 after losing to Tio. I mean, I got him winning that fight, but I say he stays in the division. He's gonna. I don't think he's gonna pull a Tank Davis and go up, make one fight, and run right back down and try to, you know, starve himself into the same division forever. He's not gonna do that. Even if he wasn't fighting Teofimo Lopez, I believe that he was already headed to 140 and would have been going in that direction anyways. West does it. I want to see Shakur Lopez fight, but I think Tio ducks it. I think we're gonna see it, bro. I think we're gonna see it. I saw someone posted that they're deep in negotiations and they expect it to happen, and that person is someone who's tapped in, you know, who knows people in both camps, who knows people in the promotional side of things. So if they said they're negotiating, it's not cap. I think that fight is gonna happen. And Teofimo Lopez, in a way, there's pressure for him to make it happen. You know why? Think about it. He was gonna fight Boots, that fell through. He was gonna fight Devin Haney, that fell through. Now he's in talk with Teofimo. So there's that pressure to make something happen. Because if he goes from talking to these guys to them making a fight with some European guy that we never heard of, you know, the backlash is going to be crazy. So I think there is pressure from Teofimo Lopez to make that fight. Or pressure on Teofimo. Imada 210. At least Pitbull Cruz doesn't duck. He always wants that smoke. No, well, whoa, wait a minute. Pitbull Cruz received an offer from Shakur Stevenson. He declined it. He received an offer from Ryan Garcia. His team declined it. And who else? There's somebody else. There's like 3 people who was trying to get at Pitbull. And him or his team was like, nah, we good. West does it. It'll be a good payday for them both. Career high so far. You're going to make a lot of money. Hell yeah. That's what it's about. Timmy T. I'm surprised Tio avoid Devin fight, but will fight Shakur. Tio struggled with the styles against Ortiz and Sander Martin. Pitbull ducked Shakur. Pitbull ducked Matias. Yeah, Pitbull, there's a few fighters that he wasn't trying to get in there with. It might have 210. My bad. I didn't know about those. Yikes. Yeah, they was trying to get that smoke with Pitbull. But you have to understand, man, that Pitbull, he's a very small guy, and there's gonna be fights that they don't want to make because of that. Like at 140, man, he gets in there with Sobriel Matias. I see him getting pummeled, bro. Pummeled. He shouldn't even be at 140. If you think about it, the reason why he won a title at 140 is because he got matched up versus Rollies. That's why. But he's small in that division, bro. He's small. I think he should he should just go back down and stay at 135. That's the problem, man, that those 2 divisions, Both of them, the champions, the people at the top, they lions. They are lions. If you're a professional fighter and you're fighting in the 135 division, you're fighting at 140, you're either really, really good or your ass is cooked. Because right now the competition in those weight classes is crazy. Paul Smith, Pitbull looked like a clean fighter, no drugs. I would say, I mean, if somebody hasn't been popped, then I say they're a clean fighter. I don't point a finger or blame somebody if they never been popped. I don't look. I'm not into conspiracies. Anybody who's been rocking with boxing, with boxing for breakfast, you guys know I'm not into conspiracies. I don't make stuff up out of thin air just to try to get views or to try to get likes. I tell you what's going on. So if somebody pop dirty, we going hard. But the speculation and the making stuff up, I'm not with it. To me, Pitbull's clean. West does it. Pitbull is becoming a gatekeeper. I like to see Antoine Russell back in the mix with the top guys. Listen, Gary Antoine Russell became a world champion. He hasn't defended his title yet, so I want to see who's gonna be the first title defense. Um, I thought that Teofimo was gonna call him out. For a minute, I was like, yo, Teofimo. Let's think about it. At 140, Gary Antoine Russell, Teofimo Lopez, that's a heck of a fight. It's not gonna happen, at least now. So I definitely want to see Shakur and Teofimo. Once Shakur beat Teofimo Lopez, or once Teofimo Lopez beat Shakur, whichever way it plays out, I think the winner should go fight Gary Antoine Russell. That's a fight I want to see. That's a good fight, man. That's a real good fight. And Gary Antoine Russell, I think it's a fighter that we don't talk enough about him. He's a world champion, man. And the skill set that he possesses is off the charts. It's off the charts, my people. But again, we digress. The magic question, which I want to make sure whoever tunes in is able to answer. What fight is going to get more views? Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, or Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather? Who's going to make more money out there? Who's going to get the most views? Paul Smith. Tio not beating Shakur. Nah, I mean, y'all know I don't got nobody beating Shakur. I don't see nobody in boxing beating Shakur at all. But this is a good fight. This is a real good fight. Come on now. Let's not act like Teofimo Lopez is not an elite level fighter. He's special too. West doesn't. Rayo is still a fun guy to watch. Oh man, I love watching Rayo. Rayo is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Love watching him. Cause every time he step in the ring, it's an entertaining fight. Let me tell you something interesting about Rayo. The first time that I saw him fight, he was like 8-0. 8-0, 9-0, something like that. And I said, first time, seen him fight once. I said, this guy's gonna become a world champion. There was people laughing at me. There was people saying, you don't know what you're talking about. This guy, he's okay. And when he beat Pitbull, remember, a lot of people predicted that he was going to get knocked out, even that he was going to get smoked, washed. When he beat him, people were saying, damn, I didn't know he could box. I didn't know he could box. I just thought he knew how to bang it out. You know why you didn't know he could box? Because you started watching him yesterday. If you've been watching him from before, then you know that he could box. That he got good footwork, good movement. He knows how to give you some angles. And that's what he did to Pitbull, which, by the way, I predicted he was going to beat him. I said, that fight goes the distance, he's going to win that fight. Pitbull's not going to be able to outbox him. West does it. Rayo is very poised in the fire. He can fight. And let me tell you something, man. Rayo Valenzuela, number one, like I said, is a fighter who I enjoy watching. They did him dirty. They did him real dirty. He got kneecapped, bro. A kneecapping exercise took place right in front of our eyes. And I'm going to tell you why. You think about this. He won his title, became a world champion against Pitbull. He was supposed to lose that fight. He was the underdog. He was expected to lose, right? Nope. Pulled off the upset, beat Pitbull Cruz convincingly. And what did they do? Did they give him a few easy fights for him to defend the title and make some money? Nope. Right afterwards, without even that much rest, they sent him straight into Gary Antoine Russell and didn't even allow him to put a rematch clause in the contract. How many times you don't see a fighter win a title and then get some title defenses versus guys you never heard of before they fight another big name or a big fight? Nope. Poor Rayo Valenzuela won and got straight sent to the wolves. Straight up. Bam, bam. Go over there. Go fight Gary Antoine Russell next. No rematch. You the champion. You supposed to be the ace. No rematch clause for you, son. Do you. You're getting one payday. One. And you guys know that the world champion, he only has to fight the mandatories. But if you're not a mandatory, the world champion don't got to fight you. Gary Antoine Russell was not a mandatory. He didn't have to fight him. But guess what? If he wouldn't have fought him, they would have put him in a shelf. Well, you don't want to fight him? You're not fighting anybody now, son. Now you're not going to make no money. You cooked. Go sit down somewhere. So basically, he was forced into fighting Gary Antoine Russell in his very next fight with no rematch clause. So you're not getting a second fight. And we'll figure out what we're doing with you after that. They kneecapped him. West doesn't. He should be getting the action Pitbull is getting. Of course. Of course. But he didn't get the support. He didn't get the same support Pitbull got. J. Will. Gary looked good versus Rayo. Gas tank and volume looked unstoppable. Bro, Gary Antoine Russell looks special. He looked like what he is, a special fighter. The speed, the defense, the movement, the angles, the footwork, it was all there. All aspects of the sweet science. You saw it right there in that one fight. Come on now. You can't miss. That's why I was just saying, if Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson do fight, which is looking like they will, the winner, holla at Gary Antoine Russell. That's a big, big fight. Because that's it. You know, Teofimo Lopez has already been in a few of these big fights, in the big stage. Shakur hasn't. And what I mean by that is that he hasn't shared the ring with another big name so people could shut the hell up about, oh, he didn't beat nobody, he didn't beat nobody. He beat a lot of good fighters, but you know, y'all be hating. Finally getting that name in Teofimo Lopez. West does it. Do you think anyone give Mr. Gary Russell a fight? If so, who? I mean, I think Gary Russell could get a fight. It's hard for me to say who because he's been inactive. I mean, I know he came back recently and won his fight. But honestly, I don't think someone who's already at the top is going to give him a shot because you don't have to. And he's risky. He's risky. He could step up there. Like right now, Gary Antoine Russell could challenge a champion and take his shit. I mean, Gary Russell Jr. could take his shit. So I think that if I'm a world champion and you're talking about you back, you're going to have to earn a fight against me. You're going to have to force it to where I have to give you a title shot. I'm not fighting you. So let's see who's willing to fight him. J. Will, Gary versus Matias. I love that fight. Damn, That's a tough fight for Gary. I know Gary can fight, but that's a tough fight for him. Coming back, he only has one back, and it was like kind of like a tune-up type of fight. So Uriel Matias is a tough challenge. I don't know if he's ready, but the skills, man, the skills. Gary Russell Jr., man, the skills is, and then Matias is flat-footed and standing right in front of you. That's a good fight. West does it. I'd love to see him versus Roach. That's a good fight as well. But it's like I told y'all, man. I was hoping to get Lamar Roach versus Shakur Stevenson, simply because there had already been interaction on social media. They had apparently been in communication about fighting each other. And I thought that was interesting to see, you know, the same guy that Tank Davis ducked, Shakur Stevenson decided to fight. That would have made it a lot more interesting. However, like I said, man, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, that's the fight that I really want to see right now. That's the fight. And it looks like we might get it, my people. It really is starting to look like we might get that fight based on some posts that I've seen out there from actual insiders that are saying, hey, look, they negotiated. They're about to make this happen. My peoples, once again, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all know what it is, man. This is the Shadow Ban J episodes. We've been shadow banned on YouTube since Monday, so this is Shadow Ban episode 5. Exclusive, super exclusive, because most people don't get to see this. Most people not going to get to see this live, you know, while it's happening. They might go back later, oh shit, let me see this video. But it's a different ballgame. My peoples, I want to show you guys the shadow banning, the image that shows you that a shadow banning took place, that you're watching exclusive content. This is a kneecapping exercise. Check it out. Check out the views of Box Center for the last 7 days. So you can see the views was going up, 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 up. And then right here, that's Monday. Look what happened on Monday. Boom! And look, it's been right there for 5 days straight. Y'all see it? The kneecapping exercise in full effect. Wes Dustin, I'm with you, champ. I appreciate you, my brother, and I appreciate your support and everybody else who's tuning in. Just a little speed bump. This ain't nothing. I'm actually enjoying the Shadow Ban series. Paul Smith, Shakur had a chance to fight Haney, but got too greedy. No, he didn't get too greedy. You're saying that because you don't like Shakur Stevenson. How could you get too greedy when you're being lowballed? You're being offered 25%. We never even known anybody who's ever been offered 25%. Devin Haney got too greedy. That's why the fight didn't happen. But if you want to take sides, you're taking Devin's side, so you're already perceiving it as Shakur's being greedy. He should have took the 25%, which is actually insane. He wasn't being greedy. Devin Haney was. And in fact, look, we don't even have to talk about the number or the amount that it was. It's not even about the amount. It's about Devin Haney never wanted to fight Shakur. That's why he skipped the purse bid, ran away from the whole division, and dropped the whole titles. We shouldn't even be talking about the amount of money. He ran from the division. Ducked. He fooled you into believing that it was Shakur that was ducking with that 25% offer. So it worked. I got to say, look, salute to Devin Haney and salute to Bill Haney. Because the make a lobo offer to make it look like I didn't duck technique, it worked. You believe it. You actually, mira, you actually believe it. So I got to give credit to Bill and Devin. They ducked and made you think that it was Shakur who ducked. It don't get no better. West does it. I think Haney is too big for Shakur. I don't know. I have no idea how you could think that. Well, what I do know for a fact is that Devin Haney has never wanted to fight Shakur, ever. You don't want it. Come on now. Paul Smith, yes, I take Devin's side. Of course, so if you take Devin's side, you're automatically going to look at Shakur's actions, and you're going to point at him like he's the one that's wrong. That's what happens when you take side. Meanwhile, for whatever reason, you decide to ignore the fact that it was Devin Haney who literally vacated his titles and left the division. How does somebody vacate, leave, but it's the other guy who ducked. They were smart. Devin Haney and Bill Haney convinced you that they could leave the division, drop the title, and it's the other guy who ducked. They good, bro. They good. They did their thing. That was a good strategy. Salute. Al Booger, not gonna lie, I fell for it too at first. Took a few weeks before I figured it out. Bro, I guarantee you, Wes does it, or Al Booger, I'll guarantee you that at the time that was happening, we didn't know each other. You didn't know what I was talking about. You know why I say that? Watch this. I was talking about that fight every day because when Shakur Stevenson became Devin Haney's mandatory, I started posting right away. Like, we're going to get this fight. No more running, Devin. Shakur's going to get you. Shakur's going to get you, Devin. And as it started getting closer, I was like, oh, that's it. Devin is cooked. So I was calling for it, talking about it every day, consistently, just talking about it. And I still remember when they couldn't come to an agreement, that's when the fight got sent to purse bid. And when the fight got sent to purse bid, I was like, there you go. Now the fight is happening. That fight is happening. When Shakur didn't take the 25% offer, it went to purse bid. That's when Paul Smith and the rest of the people that don't like Shakur, that's when they forget the rest of the story. That's when they start having amnesia, like that part never happened. And they act like, oh, it's only the 25%. But wait a minute. 3 days before the purse bid, Devin Haney announced that he was leaving the division and vacating the titles. He opted to not even go to the purse bid. Imagine that. Now, let me teach you something, Paul Smith, so that you never make that argument again that you made. You said that Shakur was being too greedy, right? After you actually learn about this, you'll never say that again, because then you're going to embarrass yourself if you already know. When you go to purse bid, generally, the champion gets between 75 and 90%. But usually, they get 80%. The split is 80-20. So if they would have went to purse bid, Devin Haney may have ended up with 80%, Shakur with 20%, which would have been less than the amount that Devin Haney originally asked for, because Devin was offering 25%. You're sitting here saying that Shakur was being greedy. Meanwhile, what happened in real life, not what happened inside your head, is that Shakur said, let's go to purse bid and let them decide. And Devin Haney said, nope, I'm vacating the titles and I'm leaving the divisions. Now, correct me if there's anything that I said that is not true. So for you to say Shakur is greedy, you made that up in your head because you don't like him. It's pretty simple. Paul Smith, yes, I don't like Shakur personally. How much Crawford getting to Canelo? How much Crawford getting to Canelo? I mean, he got longer arms than Dimitri Bivol. Longer arms than Dimitri Bivol and taller. Make of that what you will. Ernest Morales, back center, keeping it real. That's what I try to do, my brother. Keep it 100% real. I don't make up conspiracies. I don't make up stuff out of thin air to try to hate on a fighter or to try to build a narrative or to try to get a like or to try to get a subscribe. I'ma call it how it is. Every single time out, my peoples. Wes Dustin, Jay Smith doing the deep dive with receipts. This is why I'm here. Wes Dustin, my dude. You always back up your perspective. Salute. Salute, my brother. I appreciate you. And that's what I try to do my best. Make sure that if I'm telling you something, you see what I'm supporting it with. You see that I have a foundation for it. I'm not just saying some shit out of thin air because I just made it up. Well, I think that this is happening. I think that they might as well be doing this. I don't do that shit. You're never going to catch me doing that shit. If I tell you this happened, bro, you could put your hands in fire and be like, yo, yeah, this happened. Jay said it happened. It happened. Because it's a fact. Take that shit to the bank and cash it. You will never, my peoples, I promise you, you will never catch me making some shit up out of thin air. If I tell you something, that's because it's real. Every single time around. So when we talk about the Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney situation, I've always called out that fake narrative that people try to spread about Shakur ducking. It's like, wait a minute. For you to say that Shakur ducking, that means that you're not telling the whole story. Why you don't tell the whole story? Why not? Did you watch the Rocky movie? Did you watch the Rocky movie? Did you, did, when you tell the Rocky story, do you tell people, nah, you know, Rocky was this boxer and he could fight, but he fought Apollo, man, and he got beat up. And that's it, you finish telling the story right there, it's over. Rocky got beat up by Apollo, according to you. See? Here we go, my peoples. I know you got that audio back on. So, again, when you tell the Rocky story, you don't just tell people, oh, yeah, you know, Apollo beat Rocky up. No. You also tell the part like, yo, but Rocky got the rematch, and then Rocky beat him up. Stop Apollo Creed, right? Am I right? But with Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, why people don't want to tell the whole story? Oh, yeah, Shakur and Devin, and Shakur didn't take the money. Like that's it, the story's over right there. Shakur didn't take the money. But wait a minute. How about the part that Shakur didn't take the money and force is mandatory? They went to purse bid, and right before the purse bid, Devin Haney vacated the titles and left the division. If we tell the whole story, who duck? Who really duck? Gano Crush in the building, salute. Bam. Al Booger, salute. Bam, Paul Smith. You still on mute. I can't be on mute. It's impossible. West does it. Real talk. That's what I'm talking about. Look, I'm somebody, and that's why people, some, not everybody, but some people are attracted to me, to watching my videos, watching my content, because I'm a narrative debunker. I debunk narratives regularly, bro. The narrative that Shakur Stevenson, Doug, Devin Haney, I debunk that narrative quite easily. And there's a bunch of the narrative that Terrence Crawford is on steroids and that Victor Conti supplying whatever. I debunk that narrative easily. So you're always gonna see me doing that. When people come with fake shit, when people come making stuff up out of thin air, I'm the guy to show up and be like, no, buddy, stop making stuff up. By the way, my peoples, happy Friday to everybody who tuned in. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Yo, I'm about to have my breakfast, y'all. Check it out. Eggs, avocado on wheat bread. That's me, my people. So if you're just waking up, get your ass dressed and ready for work. If you're having breakfast, enjoy your breakfast, my peoples. If you're on your way to work, drive slow, be careful. Enjoy this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Paul Smith, you're a Shakur fan, that's all. By telling you the facts, by telling you that he's a world champion, by telling you his accomplishments, that's it, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of all fighters. I'm a fan of all fighters. I'm just not a fan of fake narratives. When you sit there and you say, well, Shakur should have took the 25%. He is greedy. You already acknowledged, you see, that's the difference. I'm a fan of boxing. You hate Shakur. That's why you say that. You hate the guy. When you hate somebody, you don't want other people to like him. Ernest Morales. Sometimes the reason we don't the best versus the best is the best fighters themselves. Damn, you lost me, Ernest Morales. Victor J. Canelo resume smokes Crawford resume. Fair or not? Fair. Canelo's resume is arguably the best resume in boxing right now. Victor J. Resumes don't win fights. Fair or not? You let me know. Because I'll be happy to give you a few examples of the guy with the better resume getting his ass whooped by the guy coming up. You let me know if you see, there you go. Resume don't mean nothing. So when somebody say Canelo's going to win because he got a better resume, I debunk that within seconds. Within seconds, I could tell you, look at this Hall of Famer got beat up by this guy who didn't have a resume. Happens all the time. Paul Smith. Yes, I hate him. He run too much. That's the thing. When you hate somebody, you cling to a narrative and you hold on to it as best as you can. Did you see the fight with Shakur and Zepeda? Did he run versus Zepeda? No. But you're still going to hold on to that narrative because you don't like him. That's it. You're looking for something negative that you don't like so that you can hold on to. Look, you haven't mentioned Tank Davis is going to fight Jake Paul in an exhibition. He's ducking Lamont Roach. He's really ducking Lamont Roach. You're not saying anything about that. I've never seen you say anything about that or complain about that or say I don't like Tank for fighting an exhibition and ducking a world champion. That's what happened. You keep a different energy when you don't like somebody. Victor J. Defense goes to Canelo, I think. Nah, I disagree. I give the defense to Crawford. Canelo in his last 4 or 5 fights, he's get hit a lot more. Ernest Morales. Paul Smith. What about when he didn't run? That's the thing, Ernest Morales. That when you're a hater, you'll start to have a narrow vision. And you only see what you want to see. Look at his fight with Oscar Valdez, an undefeated world champion. Was Shakur running? No. Picked him apart, beat him up. Look at his fight with Jamel Herring, a champion with 1 loss. The same Jamel Herring who gave Lamont Roach his only defeat. Shakur stopped him in 10 rounds, put the beats on him. But people who hate him, like Paul Smith, will only tell you about Shakur and De Los Santos for the next 10 years. No, De Los Santos. No, De Los Santos. And they'll keep repeating that over and over. But Shakur has a bunch of fights where he went toe-to-toe and beat guys up. World champions. They don't remember that. They only remember the fight that they don't like that they could point out. That's what a hater does. West does it. I feel like this fight looked like mostly right. Bub being winky. I mean, I could see some similarities because of Winky's height and reach advantages. But the difference here is that Winky was probably stronger than Mosley. I think Winky was probably stronger. And that's the difference. In this case, Crawford has the height and reach advantages, but Canelo is perceived to be the stronger guy. And I said perceived because I questioned that. I actually questioned it. Mr. KO, like I said, I don't hate Shakur, but he should have took the 25%. I don't care. Floyd took about 30, while Oscar took 70. And Floyd became the best after that. I'm gonna tell you why that's a bad comparison. Floyd took 30 against Oscar De La Hoya, who was the face of boxing at the time. Devin Haney isn't that. Wasn't that. He wasn't that. Oh, Devin Haney was not in the same position Oscar De La Hoya was when he demanded that 70%. Not the same thing. You're comparing strawberries to potato chips. Mr. KO, I'm just trying to say that 25% shouldn't have mattered. Shakur knows he could have beat and taken 25% would have proved a lot. But it's all about perspective, my guy. Like I said before, once you're rooting for one guy, you look for the angle to argue against the other one. But I'm telling you, I would say, look at my perspective. As a fighter, you gotta know your worth and you gotta fight for your worth. Because you're the only one stepping in the ring. You're the only one that's gonna take those punches. So at the end of the day, you gotta be the one who know your worth and who say, now this is what I'm worth. You're the one that gotta do that. Because in the end, you're the one that's gonna retire taking all them punches. And let me just say this. You see when you say, he should have took it, he should have took it, he should have took it. I'm going to tell you what's the biggest problem with that, Mr. KO. And to everybody that say he should have took the 25%, I'm going to tell you what's the problem with your statement. So, here's the problem with everyone who says Shakur should have took the 25%. Boxing contracts don't just have a number. So when you're saying take the 25%, he's not just taking the 25%. He's taking everything that comes with that offer. Whether it's the size of the ring, whether it's when your name is being called, whether it's the poster whose name is going to be first, whether there's a lot of different things that you're agreeing to. So people act like it's only the 25%. But there's a lot of other factors that fighters consider. We don't know if there was some type of rehydration clause. We don't know if there was other clauses in there. We just don't know, my people. A boxing contract has a lot of shit in it. So what I would say to everybody, my peoples, take my words into consideration. Never say that a fighter should sign a contract, because you never seen that contract. You don't know what that contract look like. You don't know what he has to agree to. He's not only agreeing to that 25%, he's agreeing to a bunch of shit, a list of shit. And we only looking at the 25%. Like, yeah, you should have took that 25. You don't know how much stuff is in there that he didn't want to agree to. You gotta agree to how much you're gonna wait. You gotta agree to the venue. You gotta agree to the place where y'all gonna fight. You gotta agree to the date. You gotta agree to whose name gonna go first. There's a lot of shit that goes in that contract that you're agreeing to. So telling somebody, agree to a contract that I never seen, that I don't know what you agreeing to, but agree because of the 25%, that shit is diabolical, bro. It's diabolical. Like, bro, and I'm not saying this to anybody straight up, so I don't want nobody to get hurt and go report the channel. But bro, if in your whole life you only seen a cable contract, what are we doing telling a professional fighter to sign that contract? You only seen a cable and internet contract, bro. Paul Smith, yes, we don't know about all the minor details. That's speculation. But that's what I'm saying. Why would you ask somebody to sign a contract when you don't know what's in it? When one of the things that we're taught as kids, a lot of people don't pay mind to it, but one of the things that we're taught is never sign a contract until you sign it, until you read it. Read the contract so you know what you're agreeing to, right? We telling fighters to sign contracts that we have no clue what we're asking them to agree to. Now, let me tell you something interesting. Let me tell you something interesting, Paul Smith. You say yes, we don't know about all the minor details. That's speculation, right? I'm gonna tell you one thing that is not speculation, because I signed the boxing contract myself. Somewhere along the lines, within all that fine print, there's somewhere where it tells you that if you get killed in the ring, or you get killed as a result of injuries obtained in the ring, your family or nobody associated with the fight can take legal action against the promoter or anybody involved in the fight. Essentially, you're signing your life away. You're saying, if I get killed out here, my family can't sue nobody. That's not speculation. That's in every contract. They put it in some nice words, so it don't sound as scary. But basically, they tell you, you get took out in that ring, nobody gonna take no type of action. That's real. That's not speculation. So again, when I'm signing a piece of paper, well, it's letting me know I could lose my life. And I'm participating in the sport where the most athletes get killed in combat out of every other sport. That's the sport I'm in. I don't want you to tell me to sign no contract, bro. You probably never been punched in the face in your whole life. And you telling me, yo, sign the contract. Sign it. I'm putting myself in the face of bodily harm, risking my life. Yeah, you watching the shit on TV with potato chips and hot wings. Sign the contract, you goofball. So, it's easy from your point of view, say sign it, sign it, sign it. But from the fighter's point of view, they got to do what's best for them. You see, in boxing, if you really are who you say you are, it's always going to end up going in your favor, one way or another. Look at Terrence Crawford. For years, being discredited, that he didn't fight nobody, that he didn't beat nobody, that he didn't earn a shot. And what happened when he finally got to Errol Spence? Gave him the beating of a lifetime. Then he moved up, beat Madrimov, another reigning world champion in another division. And now he's in the biggest fight in boxing. Go figure. The guy who everybody's been hating on, everybody been saying that he's not all that, everybody been saying that he didn't beat nobody, is now in the biggest fight in boxing. And one of the most famous boxers in the world. Terrence Buck Crawford. One of the most accomplished as well. So when you look at Shakur Stevenson, look at the way his career is playing out. While you're saying, well, he could have fought this, he could have fought Devin. Devin ran out the division. Simple as that. Devin ran. Left the division. Shakur wanted to fight him. Shakur been wanting to fight Tank Davis. Tank been ducking him for what, 2 years at this point? Maybe, yeah, like 2 years. Ducking him straight up. Don't want that action. So what happened since Devin Haney chose not to fight Shakur? Well, his stocks went down after he got pummeled by Ryan Garcia. Right now, a lot of people still don't believe in Devin. They still don't believe that he's gonna be back to his old self, that he's gonna be the version that we saw in that fight. Stock went down. Look at Shakur Stevenson on the other hand. After he didn't get that fight with Devin, became a world champion, unified titles, still undefeated, still no blemish in his record, no contest, no controversial. He didn't take no controversial beating. Fought Williams Zepeda in his last fight, made it look easy. Fought him inside of a phone booth. Listen, Shakur Stevenson is so great that he can change his style just to please y'all. You saying that he runs? He literally stood there with a guy who has like an 80% knockout ratio. Toe to toe right there. And dude couldn't land a big shot from right there. So that goes to show you that not taking the 25% from Devin Haney, it didn't hinder Shakur Stevenson's career. He still has been able to accomplish, still one of the biggest names in boxing, still his relevancy, his star power is going up consistently. Not fighting Devin didn't hurt him. It would have been good. It would have been a boost if he would have fought him. But that didn't stop his flow. That didn't stop his motion. Paul Smith, you have to dare to be great. Joshua got 3 million, or was it 2, and Chisora got 300,000. JJ's in their house. That's why Shakur is the boogeyman. Paul Smith, but that's a bad example. Chisora is never been and never will be in the star power of Shakur Stevenson. That's what I have to remind you. You have to know your worth. Chisora had to take that because that was an opportunity. That was an opportunity to get on the big stage. That was an opportunity to get his name out there. Chisora, an older guy at the tail end of his career, is not in the same situation as Shakur Stevenson, a young champion in his prime, going up. They're not in the same place. For Chisora, that's an opportunity. For Shakur Stevenson, guess what? That wasn't an opportunity because Devin Haney had to run from the division and he took that title that Devin Haney had. So he deboed Devin Haney out of that title. Not in the same position, brother. You see, you're comparing Chisora and AJ when Shakur Stevenson was the mandatory for that fight. Chisora just got an opportunity, bro. That's different. JJ's in their house. That's why Shakur is the boogeyman. Shakur is the real boogeyman in boxing. Why? Look. Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Pitbull Cruz, and there's a few others. Ryan Garcia, Rollies. A lot of people have expressed that they don't want to fight Shakur. I think that Shakur and Ryan did go back and forth recently, though, on social media. But a lot of people have expressed it that they don't want to fight Shakur. And it's always that narrative. Oh, nah, because, you know, he runs or it's going to be boring. But they don't want to take that L. That's what it is. They don't want to take that L. They know how that fight plays out. But again, my peoples, Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, that's going to be big. Come give me a hug. You didn't give me a hug this morning. Good morning, Ron.
¿Y por qué tú estás trabajando?
Yeah, I'm talking to the people. We're talking boxing.
Pero mira.
Oh, what's her name?
Papi, una señora.
Go with the dog in. Close the door. Close the door. I love you. JJ has Jay Smith. Did you hear maybe Pitbull and Roach might fight? I've been hearing that supposedly November or December. I like that fight. I got Lamar Roach beating Pitbull. I got them out boxing them, frustrating them, but it's a good fight. It's a good fight, and I'd like to see it. My peoples, I'm about to end this show, but before I do, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in for this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. You already know it. This is the shadow ban episodes. This is episode 5. You know, YouTube shadow banned me on Monday, and it's been 5 days of this shadow ban. And like I told you guys, I don't take this. There's people who hit me up, you know, in the messages privately and in the comments telling me, yo, Jay, don't get down. You know, we're going to be good. This is going to blow up again. It's going to go back up. Listen, my people, I promise you, I'm actually enjoying this. That's why I said I'm going to name it the Shadow Ban episodes, because they're only going to be viewed by a small group of people. This is actually more intimate. You know, it's a smaller group of people just talking boxing, and we're going to enjoy the shadow ban episodes, my people. One day we're going to be talking boxing, and boom, before you know, it's going to be 20, 30, 40 people, whatever it is, and then we're going to know. That day we're going to know the shadow ban is over. Until then, we doing the shadow ban series. The only thing is, bro, the only thing that I hope, my peoples, is that by September 14th, that I'm not shadow banned, bro. I need YouTube to not have me shadow ban on the 14th, because it's going to be a cooking show. My peoples, once again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Cano Crush, JJ Zendejas, and everybody else who showed love today. Mr. KO. My peoples, you already know it. You already know what this is. I'm Jay Smith. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm getting the hell out of here, yo. I gotta go to work. I gotta take my son to school. And I know y'all got shit to do too. I appreciate everybody who tuned in today, man. Y'all, I'm out of here. Bam. Ya ustedes saben, mi gente. Me tengo que ir de aquí. Hablamos.